The government's 2021-2022 budget defended by St. Anne's MP, curfew extended for North Andros and Cat Island, and COVID cases in country surpasses 12,000. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastian with your Jcn Evening News for this Monday, June 7th. Thanks for joining us. The budget debate continuing today in the House of Assembly. First up this morning was Member of Parliament for St. Anne's constituency, Brent Simonet, who sought to set the record straight regarding the opposition's criticisms of the government's accelerating recovery from restoration to growth. You see, last week, opposition shadow finance minister and Progressive Liberal Party deputy leader Chester Cooper slammed the 2021-2022 budget as sheer fantasy as he blasted the government's expenditure plans as shameless and dangerous electioneering. Well, to that, Mr. Simonet says this.
Mr. Speaker, so that's why I say it's totally irresponsible for the member, in my opinion, just so for the member for Exuma, to talk about Alice in Wonderland. In the last two budget cycles, we have been crafted against the economic downturn that we've never seen in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. As I said, Alice in Wonderland, good theme it chose, was about changing times and the rules changing. Dorian and COVID turned this country and the rules upside down, and we are facing a totally dangerous world now where we need to lead.
He adds that it takes an F&M government to govern the country in a time of crisis.
If we had had the woulda, coulda, shoulda Christie Davis administration, we would have been in a terrible, difficult situation now. No doubt. No doubt. Sorry, cut on. I walked in right at the right time. That's why, Mr. Speaker, you have a caring government which is compassionate, and this government is in good hands.
Now, during his contribution to the debate, the PLP deputy also noted that the country has a looming debt crisis with no discernible debt management strategy presented. But Mr. Simonet notes that if you look at the figures for the national debt within the country, you would realize that they've increased every year since 1967, which means both sides contributed to increasing the national debt.
So let's take it with it's there. Now, we have to do something about it. What happened when we came into office? $400 million worth of debts that just sort of come out of the woodwork. Okay, fine. Some of them, Treasury never even knew about. Never even knew about. And then I just quote my good friend, the member for Carmichael, when he said in an interjection on Wednesday, when we talk about hurricanes, it says under the PLP, Joaquin's damage was 120 million, and Matthew's damage was, 580, for a total of some $700 million of damage. That's what they had to contend. So maybe that's why they left the bill. Dorian alone was 3.4 billion. A B. Difference of $2.7 billion. And we only have the small, manageable, upfront advertised national debt.
He says most budgets are made for a normal set of circumstances, and the last two budgets were by no means normal. That said, Mr. Simonet says the government's trying to put in place a socio-economic strategy to beat off these extraordinary times, and this is what the budget is about. With the new fiscal year on the horizon, also contributing to the budget debate this afternoon, Minister of Foreign Affairs Darren Henfield gives a roundup of the fiscal year 2020-2021's figures for his ministry. With the details, we go to our Leah Cooper.
Over the past fiscal year, the Passport Division of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has taken 43,366 applicants. Of that number, enrollments total 27,285, and minor children enrollments total 982. This much coming from Foreign Affairs Minister and MP for North Abaco, Darren Henfield, during his contribution to the budget debate this morning.
The revenue collected by the Passport Office, its sub-offices and Bahamas consulates for the period of the 1st of July 2020 to May 2021 was $1,100,000. Mr. Speaker, for the period under review, the Consular Division assisted the Department of Immigration with the repatriation of some 1,053 foreign individuals. The division continues to facilitate Bahamians in distress in foreign countries and in collaboration with our overseas missions. During this fiscal year, the Consular Division, together with our overseas missions, assisted 539 Bahamians who were distressed and or displaced, most of whom were not so because of the lockdowns, the countries that they found themselves in, indicated or lockdowns by airplanes that refused to fly.
He adds that for this budget year, the Consulate Division of the Ministry apostillate and legalized 4,967 documents, which generated a revenue of $837,530. And for that same period, the division issued 1,037 visas for a revenue of $173,340.
In the midst of the economic fallout stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs generated a revenue of $2,193,825 for the fiscal year 2020-2021.
Reporting for Jcn News, I'm Leah Cooper.
Total COVID-19 infections in the Bahamas surpassed 12,000 as health officials report a total of 52 cases over the holiday weekend. 15 cases confirmed on Friday, June 4th, 17 on Saturday, June 5th, and 20 cases were confirmed on Sunday, June 6th. These additional infections put the national count of confirmed cases at 12,024. Over the 3 days, 36 of the total new infections were confirmed on New Providence, 1 with a history of travel, 5 on Abaco, 2 cases on Grand Bahama, both with a history of travel, 2 on Inagua. Andros, that is under a 21-day lockdown, confirmed 3 cases. Cat Island, which is also under a 21-day lockdown, confirmed 2 cases. 1 new case was confirmed on both the Berry Islands and Exuma. Now, these cases were all confirmed after a total of 777 tests were completed over the weekend. Active cases in country now at 683. 43 of them are in hospital, 3 in the intensive care unit. 33 persons recovered from the COVID-19 infection over the weekend, pushing total recoveries to 11,026. The death toll remains at 232, with 28 deaths under investigation. To date, 100,093 tests have been completed in country. As stated, North Andros, Central Andros, and Cat Island will remain under lockdown for an additional 7 days until 5 a.m. Monday, June 14th. The lockdown has been extended from 14 days to 21 days. North Andros, Central Andros, and Cat Island were placed under the lockdown on May 24th to slow and control the spread of coronavirus in those communities. According to the competent authority, residents of Andros may continue harvesting of crabs between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. or as otherwise approved by the Royal Bahamas Police Force officer in charge for North Andros or Central Andros. Farmers on North Andros, Central Andros, and Cat Island are permitted to attend their farm to water, tend, and harvest between the hours of 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. Opposition leader and MP for Cat Island, Rumkey and San Salvador, Philip Davis, is not too pleased with the extension of the lockdown on Cat Island. Mr. Davis says the extension of the lockdowns is unnecessary. He further adds that the science could not be clearer. In order to stop the spread of COVID-19 or any other airborne infection, for that matter, you have to separate the people with the virus from the people who do not have the virus. In order to do that, Mr. Davis says there should be widespread testing in order to know everyone's status. He added that one cannot wait until people are showing symptoms because by then it would be too late, as they may have infected others in their households. Mr. Davis says these are small communities on these islands, which makes it easier to test, trace, and isolate, and says for once the competent authority should put the health and well-being of the Bahamian people first rather than stick stubbornly to his mistakes. Now, on the other hand, Free National Movement Member of Parliament for North Andros and the Berry Islands, Carlton Boleg, says that extension is needed based on the Ministry of Health's surveillance team. When asked by our news team if he feels as if Androsians have let their guard down, he says this.
Yeah, for the most part, we were doing very well, and I think that's where we got relaxed. A lot of people started coming into Andros, spending time. A lot of events were taking place, and at the same time, from church services down to the bars and stuff like that, it was a lot of activities that could have led up to this. And, we had people from the south coming into the north also doing some events and partying and stuff like that, the similar spots. So it could have caused a spike in the virus being there. But I'm certain that we will do what we can to have it under control. We dropped the ball. And, we will rise.
The Ministry of Health's latest data for June 6 shows that Andros has a total of 167 confirmed cases, Cat Island 71. Again, the lockdowns will end at 5 a.m. on Monday, June 14th. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.